We created Free because someone had to stand for the addicts and loved ones of addicts who were suffering in silence, for the spiritual refugees who didn't have a place of belonging. A traditional church model doesn't create space for the conversations we know have to be had. Free is standing with those who are barely hanging on, who are longing for something new. Free is bridging the gap between spirituality and recovery. In this place, God meets us exactly where we are. This is what we stand for.
It's great. Fantastic.
There you go. Good evening.
Good evening.
Welcome to Free Recovery Community. It's a community of addicts, loved ones of addicts and spiritual refugees. We gather here every Saturday night to explore and be curious about how to grow spiritually. So welcome everyone who came in from the cold and the snow to come and be with us in community this evening.
Yes, welcome everyone. My name is Shelly. We do something really special here at Free, and that is that we don't do shame. And every week we like to say it together as a group. So on the count of 3, we can say it together. Ready? 1, 2, 3. We don't do shame.
Now for a couple of quick announcements. The first one is the Connect card. If it's your first time here, maybe you just haven't had a chance to fill one out yet, you can find Shelly or Matt, Shelly or Matt, around the corner and fill out a Connect card, and they'll be happy to hook you up with some free merch. I see Milan is wearing her merch tonight, so be fabulous like Milan and grab some merch for filling out that Connect card.
Oh, you also get a mug or a t-shirt.
Yes.
If you fill it out.
Yeah.
So we also are on social media. We like you to follow us on socials. We're on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. Seth updates and does posts every week, so it's fun to keep in touch through socials.
Next one, volunteer. So it takes a dedicated group of people to get the room set up and ready every Saturday night. And so sign up to volunteer with us. Our volunteer teams are usually the people that know each other the best and have the tightest knit piece of community. So not only do you get the necessary task of having seats for people to come in, you also get the added benefit of knowing the people in the room just a little bit better.
And we have a really cool thing going on right now. It's where we're doing donations for name brand toiletries for sober livings to give people a nice item when they move into a sober living, so they have fresh toiletries and something nice to take care of themselves with. And we do have a bin over here. If you want to donate, please bring in some items.
Yep. Okay. So the way the night's going to flow, just for anyone who's here for the first time, we'll start off with celebration. So here in a second, I'll have Shelly pass around the mic. Anything you're celebrating, sobriety milestones, life milestones, maybe you just had a really good week and you haven't had one in a while, we'll pass around the mic for that. And then we'll have a short, usually recovery-related message, followed by a brief opportunity for some contemplative meditation. And then we'll invite a guest storyteller up, who is Caitlin tonight. She's a little nervous and has no reason to be. Yes. And then we'll close out with heartbreak. So those are the things that are maybe just a little too heavy to carry out of the room with you. And then it should take right at an hour. So we'll go ahead and get started with celebration. Shelly will be passing around the mic. Anyone joining us online, you can comment on the YouTube stream, or if I think the Sober Living's currently in lockdown, so text Andy for any celebrations. So they'll get it to Andy and get it to us. So we'll go ahead and put 5 minutes on the clock and pass around the mic for some celebrations.
My name's Andy. I've officially turned in my application for my CADC, and I'm getting ready to go test. So
Woo.
I'm getting all that set up, so I should be testing within the next month, and then my hours will be done, and also in my internship here in 2 weeks.
Nice.
Hi, I'm Pete. I'm an alcoholic. I work in fundraising for a homeless shelter, and typically January is the slowest fundraising month of the year. But we got surprise handful of donations that were $20,000 in a week in January. So it's just joy
Nice,
for
that's
those of us in
amazing.
the
Yeah.
shelter.
I'm taking my driving test on Monday. I'm Al.
Okay, nice.
And I know I'm going to get it because I just have to renew it, but I'm real excited.
Yeah.
Finally, right?
Hey y'all, I'm Reem. It's a simple one. After like a lifetime of wanting to and never working up the courage, I have actually joined a gym near me and gone more than once.
Yeah. Hey, Eric.
Hi, my name's Eric. I'm an addict and alcoholic, and on Monday I hit 90 days of sobriety. So.
My name is Matt. I'm an addict and alcoholic, and I hit 9 months yesterday.
Hi, my name is Ed. I'm an addict. And I just want to celebrate being sober today. I have been facing a lot of headwinds recently, and I tend to forget that the real miracle is that I'm sober and I have the most sobriety I've ever had in my life. So I need to remember that and celebrate that every day.
Absolutely.
Hello, I'm Aaliyah. So I was just doing my counting on my fingers, and I'm actually 6 months sober. And this is the longest that I've been sober in a couple years. So yeah, I'm very excited. So.
Yes, absolutely.
Hello, I'm Matt. I had a really good week. In a week, I realized I could never handle without sobriety. And after hearing you guys say your dates, I just realized tomorrow will be 1 year and 6 months.
Woo!
Hi, I'm Andy. I just got promoted at my job, and I'm about to hit 11 months, and I'm
Ooh.
feeling great.
Yeah. Any other good ones?
I have a good one.
Uh-huh.
So I'm celebrating 1 year with my boyfriend as of a week ago. Yeah. And it's just really nice to be in a sober relationship that's healthy and happy. And yeah, main thing is sober.
Yeah.
This is my first sober relationship. So
Oh, nice. That's
yeah.
a good one. And Pete's good, yeah.
Yeah, Pete's good.
Hey y'all, it's me again. It's a continuation from previous celebrations and tough ones, but I wanted to share because I think people might be curious to hear. The Broadview 6, the FBI case against them for their protesting of ICE, had a recent court case, and it went so positively in the favor of the protesters that there was literal actual laughter in the courtroom about everything that the FBI's prosecutor was bringing forward, which is a very positive development, and the judge is extremely skeptical and stuff. It's still ongoing, but the degree to which they're being laughed out of court cannot be expressed.
So.
Absolutely. And we have one from online. Sincere is celebrating 1 month of sobriety. So. That first, man, I'll tell you, I think it was harder to get 30 days than like 7 years, right? Like that first, I mean, you have to get one to get the other, but that first little bit, man, it's quite the battle. So the past few weeks at Free, we've been kind of talking about building community, why community matters, and the essentials of a good, healthy community. And we haven't been really talking about it in a theory, or there hasn't been I haven't done any charts from leading researchers on community, but what we have been talking about is that sense of community that you can feel when you walk in a room. So the first week we talked about why community matters, how some things that happen in isolation and they kind of grow in isolation, like our addiction or pain or trauma, and then there's other things that happen in community, building healthy relationships and being together. The next week we talked about a welcome and how being welcomed is the way that we feel like we belong, and we don't gotta earn it, we don't gotta justify our place, we just exist. And last week we talked about consistency, right? Why presence matter, why rhythms matter, how getting in regular patterns of things is something that helps not only our recovery journey, but just also our soul. And so this week we're talking about care. We're talking about how we show up for each other and how in a community really is about a group of people that care for one another. And even if we don't realize it, most of us have both provided and received care before, even if we didn't have a name for it. And care is a staple of any healthy community, especially a recovery community, and many of us do it instinctively. Right? We instinctively show up for someone. We see someone hurting, we notice that person gazing into the void, and we go up and ask them how they're doing. But not a lot of us are as good at receiving care or standing up and letting people know when we're hurting or when we're in pain. And you know, whenever I think of care, I always think I relapsed after about 2.5 months of sobriety, and a friend of mine, Delana from recovery, she had me sleep on her couch and asked me if everything was okay and made sure I was drinking water. Sometimes the way people show up for care is something that we share with others moving forward. And I'm not saying we should let every person sleep at our house, but what I am saying is the way we show up for each other really impacts on us, and we remember it. Most times I go back to Springfield now, I visit my friend Delana, and here at Free, we say at the beginning of every week, right? We say we don't do shame. Because shame and care are kind of the opposite of each other. And in recovery, we most certainly don't shoot our wounded. And if you stay in recovery long enough, you're gonna be wounded. If you live life long enough, you're gonna be wounded. You're gonna go through those things that just come from life being heavy. People not only relapse, but people also burn out. They go through grief, they go through divorce, they go through pain, they lose a loved one. We hit walls we didn't see coming, and I think our friends over at NA would call that life on life's term. Shit happens. There's always a point, there's gonna be a point in everyone's life where we need care. Care is what happens next after life happens, and it's what happens next when we're in community together. In the book of Galatians, Paul says, carry each other's burdens, and in that way you'll fulfill the law of love. And as I mentioned earlier, in recovery, sometimes we take advantage of the fact that many of us do it instinctively. The first of the 12 steps is admitting that we need help, admitting that we need community, and admitting that we need support. And asking for help is not a weakness. Asking for help is actually just the way we're honest. It's actually a strength in raising our hand and saying that we need support. And that honesty is often the doorway to a much deeper connection. So as step one is when we raise our hand and say we need help. It's when we say we need care for. And sometimes that's the hardest thing that we can do in a world that teaches us to be strong and to stand up and to not show our weakness. And I know many of us grew up in environments like that, right? And it shows up in all kinds of places. It shows up from the country to a neighborhood that people would say is rough, right? It shows up in all these different places. And that's why in recovery we have systems of support that are built in. Our sponsors exist and our meetings exist, and they all exist as a way for us to be present so that we can get help when we need it the most. Because willpower and book learning is not enough when life gets hard. We need each other to survive. And so when we're in communities like this one, it exists not so that we can fix each other or so we can minimize our pain or we can judge the stories that led us to sitting in this room right now. It's just so that we can walk alongside and help carry the burden. Because carrying the burden implies weight, right? And it means that things are heavy, that there's effort, and that we need help to stand. And the world teaches us a version of care that keeps us in pain. Current cultural buzzword is self-care. Have you heard about self-care, the new trend, where you can spend $1,000 and be happy? And self-care does matter, right? It matters that we get enough sleep. It matters that we eat healthy and that we drink enough water. I mean, every morning whenever I wake up and I read some, usually scripture, but some readings. I drink my morning coffee, I journal, I meditate, I pray. Taking care of ourselves most certainly does matter. But what is often sold as self-care isn't care at all. It's just capitalism dressed up as peace and added with a price tag. It tells us that if we're burned out, we need to buy something, or if we're overwhelmed, we need to escape somewhere. If we're hurting, we need to fix it privately. That we can go on a $1,000 luxury vacation or spot, or $1,000 ain't gonna get you a luxury vacation. If you can go on a $1,000 spa day to feel better, maybe the latest subscription to the meditation and affirmations app, maybe we need to buy the latest product to get self-care. And for many, that's not just unrealistic, that's cruel. Because it reinforces pain as a personal problem, that if you're struggling, maybe you're not doing something right, or if you're overwhelmed, you're not trying hard enough, or if you're struggling, that means you've missed something and not gotten it right. Because healing isn't meant to be accomplished alone, and it most certainly isn't meant to be accomplished with a price tag. Because the truth is, you can't self-care your way out of a world that consistently harms people. You can't meditate your way out of grief, or you can't purchase your way out of heartbreak, or you can't manifest your way out of trauma. What heals isn't isolation. What heals is a community that shows up and cares for each other. In Buddhist communities, they have this term, Sangha, and it's a community that supports awakening. And even Buddhism has been kind of corrupted a little bit by this capitalist, individualist concept. Because in the West, we see Buddhism as private or solitary, maybe one person sitting in one room with a pillow and some music and a sound bath. That's Zen Buddhism, and it's actually the biggest in America, especially among white Americans, but it's actually the minority expression worldwide. Globally, it's Theravada. All my gays get that joke. There's a reason I read that as Theravada. It's actually Theravada, or Pure Land. It's awakening that actually happens in community. The straight people in the room had no clue what that joke was. No. Woo! Woo! Ask Matt later. And not that Matt. That Matt. But Buddhist communities globally recognize something that as Americans we often fail to recognize, and it's that healing doesn't happen alone. That suffering is actually unbearable alone, but suffering is workable when we're in a community of people that care about us. Buddhism names something that I feel like most of us know in our bones. That awakening or healing or change, all these things are things that don't happen on our own. They're things that happen in community, and they can only happen when we raise our hand and say we're hurting. When we sit in our apartments alone, or maybe we're around a group of people with a smiley face on, there's no way that community can show up and help. Community care is being able to show up even when we're feeling broken. and not being told to come back when we feel better. It says you don't have to perform and pretend to be strong when you're not. It says you don't have to make it hopeful. We all know those people, right? They make everything hopeful. But also, you don't have to carry the pain and the burdens you're going through alone. Paul doesn't say everyone manage your own burdens responsibly. He says carry each other's burdens. Which means at any time, there's probably many people sitting in this room right now that are pretending like they're fine when they're carrying a lot more than they can. But when we reach out for help, that means we know the importance of it when we give it to someone else later. That's why we share heartbreaks at the end of every gathering. Not to say I need advice, or not to tell people I need you to fix me, or not to tell people that I need something at all from you. It's just to tell people I need help because I can't do this alone. And that's a practice of community care that we do every single week before we leave the room. An old timer at my home group in St. Louis used to say that naming a problem is halfway to solving it. Because some problems can't be solved. But in community, we most certainly can lighten the burdens of those problems. When we share a heartbreak, we say, I trust the room with this piece of information about myself in a world that we're told not to show our weakness. And it's not saying I need advice right now, and it's not saying that I need to be fixed. It's just saying that I need to be held with presence or attention. I need to be held with compassion. Letting yourself be cared for isn't a weakness at all. It's courage. In Corinthians, the Apostle Paul actually goes as far to say, when I am weak, I am strong. There is strength in naming weakness and asking for help. There's strength in turning things over to our higher power, and sometimes it's only in our weakness do we recognize the strength of our community. It's only in weakness that we recognize the strength of a God that shows up for us, and it's only in weakness that there's many things we can learn. But in a society that's built on individual and strength, it takes real courage to be vulnerable. Healing doesn't come from showing how strong we are. It comes from telling the truth about what we are not. So how does community care actually work? How does it work to show up in a community? What are some tips and tricks to ace the game of community care? The first way is the best way to make people think you care is to actually care. Sitting there and pretending like you care, not going to work. Ask questions, follow up, listen. We're in a world that's not very good at listening. Offer your presence and not solutions. One of my sponsees likes to rant a lot, right? And I always like to say, do you need to vent, or do you need a solution? And sometimes that simple question can show you exactly how you need to show up for people. And also sharing your own experiences or being vulnerable with people. When people are going through pain, they always feel like it's something they're going through alone. But when we open our hearts to people, it allows them to open their hearts to us as well. Another great trick in community care is praying for other people. I don't know what it is. If you're Christian, you might think God receives the message. If you're not, just think that sending positive vibes into the world can be a hugely beneficial thing for others. And then let them know. Follow up. Whenever I get a message that says, hey, so you shared this with me and I've been praying for you about it, it means something to me because it reminds me that I'm not going through it alone. And many of us don't want to share our pain because we think we burden them. Anyone ever felt that way? Yep. Yeah. I remember early in sobriety, I was so nervous to call my sponsor because I thought I was annoying him. And now at this stage in sobriety where I have a couple sponsees, it always kind of brightens my day whenever I hear from them, whenever I'm able to walk through them. And community actually teaches us the opposite of when we share our pain, we're burdening them. When we let someone help us, we're actually helping them. Page 69 of the big book kind of talks about this. When we're supporting others, it actually helps us get out of our own head or maybe get out of our own way. I can think of one time I was just having an absolute crap day, right? It was a crap day. I think Free had been around for about 2 or 3 weeks. One of our key leaders had relapsed, and I needed to support them. I had to rechange some things about the structure of the flow. I just heard like 2 or 3 pieces of just complete setback information. And then I got a call from a guy I'd been working with, right? A guy that was just going through it. And just being able to sit down with him and look him in the face and say, hey, you feel like shit right now, but that's exactly how you're supposed to feel, and walk with him on that journey completely changed the course of my day. It made me realize those little problems that I thought were the end of the world weren't that big of a deal anyways. The fact that he reached out to me and showed me vulnerability actually helped me get out of my head and put my things in perspective. So when you're reaching out for help, when you're raising your hand and saying, I'm hurting, you're probably not bothering them. And if you are bothering that person, they're probably not your person. Because recovery is ultimately a group project, and healing only really happens in community. So the last few weeks we've been journeying through, do you like my sass there? So the last few weeks as we journey through how to build a community, the first week we learned that community matters, right? Why community matters. The second week we learned that each and every person in this room belongs here, and probably several people who are not in this room. The third week we learned that showing up matters, and tonight we learned that you don't have to carry it alone. If you're feeling strong, look around. There's someone in the room that needs you. And if you're feeling weak, stay. Let us help you carry that weight. Because in this community, we don't sell healing. We don't rush people to be okay. We don't shoot our wounded, and we hold each other up. In a second, we're going to listen to a song. Matt's been requesting Taylor Swift for a while, so I went with that route. He's only been requesting Taylor Swift for 6 months, and I finally came through. I layered in some Dixie Chicks. Sorry, the Chicks. The Chicks. Don't cancel me. So we're going to listen to this song, and I just want you to think, as you meditate in whatever position feels the best. I always say that 3 minutes feels like a long time to some people and no time at all to others. Music is distracting to some people, and the only reason some others can sit through it. Just think about those areas where you really showed up and needed help, and someone showed up for you, and imagine the way that makes you feel, and just think each and every person in this room has the power to make someone else feel the same. Together again. So tonight's guest storyteller, I'm super excited to have come up here. The first time I met her, she was getting propelled forward by 2 dogs down the street. But then recently, she was over at our house, and and Justin just left, so I can. Justin was just here so I can talk about him since he left the room, right? And I was meeting with Caitlin in the living room. We were just having coffee, and after she left, Justin goes, "She's just a delightful human, isn't she?" And I'm sure y'all feel that way. I know she's a little nervous, so we know we're all rooting for her. So I want to invite up Caitlin, our guest storyteller for tonight. Yeah. Oh, well.
Don't care.
I don't care.
I used to have this candle in my room when I was a kid, and my mom thought I was having boys over.
Oh, okay.
I wasn't.
You were.
My best friend who was a girl.
Well, spoiler alert. Ooh, hey! I love it. So, Caitlin, first, just start off. Tell us a little about yourself.
I grew up literally 3 doors down from here. I used to come here as a kid, not a kid, like 17 or 18 when Pastor Jen was here. And that was when I was just refinding my faith. And now, you know, I went to public school my whole life. And out of that, you know, those counselors tell you, oh, go to college, go to college. I did not want to yet. Not even close. So I went to the Army because that recruiter got to me first. Even though everyone else says, go Air Force, go Air... And through that experience, I had gotten married and accumulated 2 dogs whom I love very much. That is one of them. That's Basil May. And Bear is a big white Pyrenees. So,
Yeah. So imagine her, little Caitlin, with 2 dogs just pulling her forward.
And it's icy, so I'm like trying to function.
She was in a sled dog race.
Yes,
Yeah.
That's really it.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, so you're a townie. We don't meet a lot of townies in Chicago,
No.
right? No, that's mostly people from other places. So you grew up in the area, went on to the military, and what drew you to Free?
The sign.
The sign,
Outside.
okay, yeah, nice.
Again, as I was being dragged by the dogs, they decided to go, you know, it's a 2-dog leash, so one decided to go this way and the other decided to go this way. So if your sign fell one day and you heard a crash, during a meeting, if you hear a crash outside, that's probably me. And then I was like, I gotta go because I keep, you know, like I'll bring them around down the street and through the alley, and I saw this bright light coming from the back of the church. I'm like, Jesus? So that's what drew me, and what kept me was the kind community. I mean, I haven't met a bad person here yet, so you've all been really wonderful to me.
Nice. Well, I can't guarantee, you know.
Well.
Just kidding. Have you met Andrea? Just kidding. Andrea's a fake person that doesn't come here. Long story. And yeah, I remember your first time here, like you showed up an hour early, right? And so you're like, hey, and she showed up an hour early, and she's like, well, I'm an hour early. Y'all are setting up. Do you need any help? Like from the very start, you were one who just kind of showed up and supported, right? And just kind of helped. So tonight we talked about care, right? We talked about how we care for each other and how a lot of us can show up for care, but sometimes it's harder to raise our hand when we need care. So has there ever been a time in your life where you needed to reach out for help? And just tell us a little bit more about that. Yeah.
Yes, terribly. I had waited almost a year and a half to reach out to my mother, to my friends, to get out of a relationship involving domestic violence. One day I called my mom and I told her, Mom, I've had it. I'm sure you've seen signs. I'm sure, you know, you've seen my mental health decline. I've had it. I gotta go, or it's gonna get lethal.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And
yeah.
And when you were there, like when you were in that moment, right? Were there moments before where you almost did? And was your like?
Yes.
Were there any stories that you told yourself that now that you're kind of through the other side of that, that you wish you wouldn't have told yourself, right?
I remember a time, this was when me and my husband, my almost ex-husband, were dating, and we were driving from Oklahoma City. I was stationed out in Oklahoma. We were driving from the center of the state to the southwest region, and we were arguing about something, again, don't know what, probably didn't matter, but I started crying, and I mumbled to myself, I was like, this isn't love. And he heard me, and he pulled over. He was like, we need to talk about this. Like, this is, you know, this is really bad. And I said, no, I don't really want to talk about this right now. You know, I'm the kind of person who takes 10 to talk about things, and he did not like that. So here we go. We pull out from the side of the road, almost hitting someone coming from behind us, and he starts going maybe 90 or above in a 70. And that was scary. I mean, I didn't think he was gonna stop. I was like, slow down, stop backseat driving. No, you really need to slow down. Like, we could die. It's cold, it's icy here. Like, Oklahoma isn't used to this ice here. And I don't remember him stopping, and I don't remember the rest of that day. But the second I said, this isn't love, I should have left.
And what led you, like, what, and you don't, I mean, we talked before, right?
Right.
Yeah, we've talked before. So what finally led to, like, saying I need help? Like, what, calling your mom, I know you mentioned calling a close friend, calling the police, right?
Mm-hmm.
What finally, like, tipped the scales in that department? Was it an event, or was it like a headspace thing?
It was an event. I don't, if this is triggering anybody, let me know, by the way. Like, if it's too much detail, just kind of raise your voice a little bit, let me know. But we had gotten to another argument. I was getting ready to take a shower, so, you know, my clothes are on the dryer. I'm just getting ready to get in the shower. He comes into the bathroom. We start arguing about something, probably the day, because that was the last day I remember us hanging out. We were at, you know, the mall. We went to Target. And he was like, I don't want to be here. And I'm like, oh, it's fine. Like, just, you know, one more store. I'm not feeling good. I'm like, okay, we can go home. So we go home a few stores later, and we're just, like, having a brawl. And I'm, you know, trying to listen. But this is the point where he starts screaming, to the point where I can feel spit on my face. Like, he is so close to my face. I'm feeling literal human spit all over my face. I feel like I'm being attacked by a dog. And it doesn't stop. At this point, I am in the corner of our hallway. There's a bathroom, and there's a little hallway. I'm in the corner. Is this bothering anybody? Okay. And I'm like, oh my God, he's not gonna stop. And so I pushed him out of the way. Mind you, I have like a single t-shirt on, nothing else. I push him out of the way, and I try to go to the living room, and I get, you know, pushed one way, trying to get up, slipping over stuff. Mind you, we're moving, so there's a bunch of boxes in the hallway, so I'm like tripping over a bunch of stuff. And my phone is in the living room. I'm trying to get to my phone. I'm like, this is gonna escalate. I feel it. It's predictable because you go through it so many times. So the last time he pushed me down, he kind of like crawled over me and stepped on my head. He was like, oh, it was an accident. I'm like, how do you accidentally step on one's head? You don't. And so I was like, I'm calling the police. I'm done. Like, I am so afraid of you. I have to get someone involved. So I call them, and I say, and I regret this, he is a soldier with PTSD, and he needs mental health help. I don't want to tell them what he's doing because I'm ashamed. I don't want to tell him tell them, the police, how I feel. Because what if they don't believe me and then they drive off and now I'm stuck with him in our home alone? Mm-hmm. See what I mean? Yeah. So they came, they talked to him, and that night I left, and, you know, I left to a friend's house. Then, unfortunately, I did some drinking, and I had him come pick me up after.
Yeah. And when you finally did decide to leave, like you told me earlier that like a friend came and helped you move. Mm-hmm. Like, how did it feel just to have someone there with you?
wonderful. We cleared out a 2-bedroom, 1-bathroom in less than 6 hours. I was ready. All the pieces of furniture I had bought, I sold on Facebook Marketplace. All the things I didn't need were either donated to a church or a thrift store that supported a church or an LGBTQ community, something like that, or a homeless shelter, anything. I didn't want my stuff to go to waste, but I was blessed with enough time to bring it to those places, you know?
Yeah, and where are you at now with everything?
I am moving into my apartment in 6 days, next Friday.
So we'll have a celebration from you next week.
Yes, lots. Oh, yeah. And I start my new job February 16th.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
So if you were talking to someone in the room is saying like they need help, like they need to reach out for something, like what advice would you give them about reaching out, about raising your hand, about saying, this is where I'm at and this is what I need?
I know the rose-colored glasses are hard, but recognize the signs early on. I want to talk about, I have it on my notepad here, narcissistic abuse first. This is the one, who said yes? I'm sorry. This can include gaslighting, manipulation, whether that be emotional, physical, sexual, isolation, blame shifting, and explosive rage. I put those in order from like, I guess, least bad to most bad, but again, depending on your situation, it can change. Physical violence is never okay. Yes, they teach us that in middle school when, you know, we all have our boyfriends and girlfriends, and in high school, and but when you're actually in it, you're like, you're justifying. You're like, yeah, this is okay for me. I deserve this somehow. No, you don't. I don't care what walk of life you come from. You don't deserve physical, sexual, financial abuse, none of it. So even when it isn't you directly, for example, punching a wall, that is intimidation. Recognize it early and get out. Financial abuse, I talk about this one because a lot of my friends are stay-at-home moms in the military. They don't make any income. Their husband does, or their wife does. And it's very isolating, and it's a hard situation to get out of. And then sexual abuse. It can also happen in your marriage too. Okay. So moral of the story, recognize the signs early, call someone. And for the financial abuse, please sign that damn prenup if you're gonna get married, all right? Because I didn't. And last but not least, I care about you and I will provide my contact if you need support.
Awesome, thank you. And you brought something with you, right?
Oh,
yes.
yeah, I forgot.
You had like, I know that a lot of times sacred texts provide us a way for God to speak to us, right? Whenever maybe we're struggling or we're in certain situations. And you brought one that you said after that situation, you found this at a TJ Maxx and it was going on your wall, right? Just to remind yourself of something. So do you want to read that for us before we close out?
I almost forgot. This is 1 Corinthians 13, 4-8. Everybody, you know, they read this when you're getting married or in church when you're a kid, right? But we forget, right? So love is patient, love is kind, it does not boast, it is not proud, it does not dishonor others, it is not self-seeking, it is not easily angered, it keeps no record of wrongs. Love does not delight in evil, but rejoices with the truth. It always protects, always trusts, always hopes, always preserves. Love never fails.
Hang that up, put it in a frame, hang it on a wall and never forget it.
It's in a frame, $20 at TJ Maxx, guys.
God works in mysterious ways. Well, thank you so much, Caitlin. Thank you. Yes, in this room we can share hard truths, right? And we can share hard truths with where we're at. And when we share those truths, we help other people going through those truths. So if anyone's going through anything that's challenging or rough or abusive, make sure you talk to someone in the community and we'll do what we can to show up for you in all the ways that we can. And so here comes the time of the night where we talk about generosity. So generosity Let's see. Generosity is the way we keep the lights on and keep everything going. It's the way that we show up for each other, both financially and personally. So if you can, go ahead and scan that. You can go on our website, or there's a box around the corner. And now we will move into the heartbreak section, what we've been talking about most of the night tonight. Heartbreaks, as I mentioned earlier, are our chance to raise our hand and say we're going through it so that other people can show up and help you. So I'll ask Shelly to grab the microphone and feel free to share openly. I think we start off with one from online. Okay, we've got Amy is asking for prayers into getting into a sober living home. So we'll be praying for Amy as she navigates the next stage. One of those individuals that are here virtually from an inpatient treatment center.
Hello, I'm Al. So I just lost one of my first cousins. I was real close with him. We all were. He was only 33. We're going to bury him on Thursday. So pray for the Jordan family, please, and myself as well.
Yeah, prayers for you and the Jordan family. Cousins are our first friends, right? Yeah.
Hey, I'm Aaliyah. So earlier I spoke about coming up with 6 months. It's been really, really rough for me this past winter. I have been having a lot of cravings, and I've had using dreams where I'm actively using the dream. And the point, I woke up and I was relieved that it was a dream, but then I wanted to go back to sleep. So that's where my problem comes in. I don't want to use it. I feel so amazing now. And I want to keep it going, but it's been really rough. Just kind of mentally not present at times, and just I've been struggling with that. So just pray for me. Give me love. I'll give you love.
Absolutely.
I'm Ryan. I'm asking for prayers for my husband, who is just going through a bunch of tests to figure out what he actually has. We have to go to an imaging center on Monday, and then after that a bone marrow test he has to do. And I hope that it's not anything more severe than what it could be. And it's just really hard to go through all that.
Yeah, absolutely. Prayers for your husband and prayers for you, because going through that with someone is also hard on you.
Hi guys. Just been meditating recently, especially in the last few days, on how sometimes feeling good can feel bad. How sometimes to be able to truly sit with yourself and live with yourself and live comfortably in this body, you have to wade through what's just bad, and knowing full well that there's good things coming on the other side of that when you can handle it with grace, because that's what I wasn't doing my entire life. And now that I've started to, things have started to look up. But I was just reminded today too, a friend of mine confided in me some truly horrific things, and just y'all don't know him, but keep him in your prayers.
Prayers for all the people that have to be outside right now, the people who are unhoused, or a lot of us in this room have been there, right? And we don't always know where the resources are, and we don't always know where the things are, but it's cold to walk to the car, so not having a place to feel that safety and security and warmth it's rough.
Hey y'all. I've had a lot of progress in different ways over the last few months, but I've been attending addiction stuff for a little over a year, and I still haven't managed to hit 36 hours sober. And I yeah, I don't know what's missing. I don't know how to get to that. But yeah. Thanks.
Hi, I'm Eric again. I don't know if this is really a heartache, but I don't know where else to share this. Now that I'm 3 months sober, I'm working on my step 2, and came to believe a power greater than ourselves can restore us to sanity. And I've had a lot of difficulty with that because I grew up Seventh-day Adventist, and God hated me, and I was forced to pray. And when people in AA tell me, "Oh, pray about it," I'm just like, no, because I never felt anything when I prayed, because I was like forced into this religion and pray the gay away. But now that I started step 2, it says like God can be a group of drug addicts like GOD or the great outdoors, and I'm trying to redefine my relationship with a higher power. And it's been difficult because I've been bringing up a lot of my past traumas, but yeah, that's it.
Absolutely.
Hi, I've just been having a really hard time trying to find a sponsor. I just had one, and I kind of just had to let him go. I've been a chronic relapser, so for me, I think just connecting and just finding the right people it's been very difficult for me ever since I moved to Chicago. I think it's just finding a sponsor or just like a community. So yeah.
Anything else? Well, thank you everyone who shared your vulnerability and your pain, and we'll make sure to all be praying for you guys and thinking of you throughout the week. We'll close in one prayer together. Ryan always finds the best prayers for us at the end of the night. So if you want, please join me in the prayer. May we gather with open hearts, seeing one another as reflections of the same boundless truth. May kindness be the bridge between our differences, and patience the soil where understanding grows. In our words, may there be gentleness. In our actions, may there be generosity. In our hearts, may there be wisdom. Let us walk the path together, supporting one another in joy and in challenge, remembering that no being walks alone. As the lotus blooms in still waters, may our community blossom in peace, for the benefit of all beings without exception. Amen. Thank you all for coming. We'll stick around and watch some Drag Race for anyone who wants to join. I know Peta's going to get expired to be a late night drag queen. Thanks everyone for coming, and we hope to see you again next week.
Beautiful.